there was suspicion that something was afoot, Trump should immediately have been removed from the stage. I want to show you an interview that was broadcast earlier with a witness who alerted security services to the fact there was a man on a roof with a gun.
We noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us. He had a rifle. Right. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. So you all have heard by now that there's been an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Thank God the bullet only grazed his right ear, coming within millimeters of his actual head. So now let's get into it.
First, the US election has been thrown into chaos after Donald Trump was shot in an attempted assassination at a rally in Pennsylvania.
Had Donald Trump not turned his head at the last moment, we'd be sitting here talking about his death. But for a few millimeters, the world would be a very different place tonight.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
Now, the assassin was shot dead at the scene. He was later identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks.
Trump survived the assassination attempt, but the attack raises at least 4 key questions that now need to be asked. First and not least of which, is there a leak in the Secret Service? Danica, there's a couple of really interesting things about the events of earlier today. Firstly, how was a sniper able to position himself on a rooftop with clear line of sight just over 100 metres from Donald Trump? Second, how was it that people in the crowd spotted the sniper before anyone from the Secret Service did? And third, how was it that while police tried to find this suspicious individual who numerous people had pointed out, Trump was allowed to stand on stage and continue speaking? The moment that there was suspicion that something was afoot, Trump should immediately have been removed from the stage. I want to show you an interview that was broadcast earlier with a witness who alerted security services to the fact there was a man on a roof with a gun.
We noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us. He had a rifle. Right. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police are like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
James, this is unbelievable. I mean, this witness clearly speaks very well. He was able to clearly articulate exactly what he had seen. So to give him the benefit of the doubt, you've got to go, well, what on earth happened here? I think this was a complete abject failure by the Secret Service. You do have to now ask, was there in fact a leak? What went wrong here? Because the gravity of the failures cannot be underestimated. In fact, I would say this is catastrophic because if you have a look at this photo of just how close the bullet came to Donald Trump's face. I think we've got that photo hopefully coming up for you soon. But, I mean, it came really literally within millimetres. Here it is now. Look at that. You can see it there in a straight line. One wrong turn, one turn of the face to another way, we would be having a very different conversation tonight. And I was listening to our Washington correspondent, Annalise Nielsen, speak earlier in the day, and she said that this is normally such a tightly controlled area. In fact, she explained that the media, for example, need to put their camera equipment 8 hours in advance to the security services so they can do a proper sweep. So you go, if they're doing these sorts of proper checks, how on earth was this allowed to happen? It's really, really catastrophic. And something here, James, just does not add up. In fact, more questions would be asked after having a look at this vision here of the actual Secret Service snipers on top of the roof. Have a look.
And that's a little bit old. That's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
If you watch that video closely, the sniper got off 5 shots before he was eventually taken out by the Secret Service, which is quite amazing. The New York Post are reporting that law enforcement officials are asking how on earth was the guy able to get off 1 shot, let alone 5, before he was taken out. And again, that video shows that the Secret Service had the gunman in their sights, but waited until he'd fired before they eliminated him. I should point out that Donald Trump, in a statement after the attack, thanked the Secret Service for protecting him, as well he would. But there are certainly questions to be asked, and now there's talk of a congressional hearing to find out exactly what went wrong that Trump was able to be shot at from such a close range. As I said, with the Secret Service should have had someone on the roof where the sniper was.
Yeah, but the point is, and a lot of other previous people who've worked for the agency, they've come out and said that the Secret Service would always normally do a sweep of the roofs in and around an area where a rally or an important event would be taking place. So you have to ask, did this individual manage to conceal themselves, conceal a weapon, and then therefore the Secret Service were not alerted to it? I mean, these are all really fundamental questions, but you'd hope that they have answers soon, because there's a long way to go between now and November.
As I said, most astonishing, how is it that members of the general public were able to point and say there's a gunman on a roof with a rifle before Secret Service or local police were alerted or saw it themselves?
Absolutely. And look, here's the second question that needs to be asked. Donald Trump must surely now be an unbackable favourite, you'd say, to win the November election. But will he live that long? Because seriously, James, his safety is compromised, as we've seen today. Now, my answer to that question would be yes, because now the security around him would be absolutely bolstered. And we know that Donald Trump is not one to hide. He's going to go out there. He's going to say, I'm carrying on because I'm doing the work of the American people. The Republic Convention is due to start this week, where Donald Trump will be formally announced as the candidate to take them to the next to the election here in November. Mark my words, he's going to be there, and that is going to be a significant moment in history, but he will have to be protected to the max. But you have to ask these questions now, because there would be complete lunatics out there going, oh, well, this bloke here managed to get within a sniff of trying to assassinate a former president. Well,
I know what she's going to say next, so I'm going to stop her. So questions have been raised about the Secret Service. Is it compromised? Why was this sniper able to get this close? I know that, and just learned this about Secret Service, and you can only, common sense tells you that they would do a general sweep of the area. I was looking at another video by former YouTube creator by a fellow YouTube creator, Stephen Gartner, who had a former Secret Service agent on his video. And he was saying that he think that the Secret Service agents did a great job. They came in immediately. But the issue is, how did that sniper get there? Did they come in after the sweep by the Secret Service? Or I know that the Secret Service only goes within a certain perimeter of the actual event. They don't necessarily go outside, whatever that actual perimeter is. If the sniper was within the perimeter, then there's a fail on the behalf of Secret Service. If it was outside the perimeter, well, that needs to be investigated. I'm not saying that there was a failure on Secret Service. I am not saying that. This video here insinuates that very clearly. They're saying, is Donald Trump still in danger? We still need to keep praying for him. But with other just regular citizens pointing, saying, look, and no one does anything, and the sniper gets off 5 rounds before shots are fired in return, that does not look good to me, because it should have been more immediate. These people are highly trained. I don't know what happened exactly. No one knows but God fully. None of the journalists know fully. But some things just do not add up. Like How in the world was that sniper able to get a clear view? And I pray for Donald Trump's families, but I also pray for the families of those. There was another man who was a rally supporter, a Trump supporter at the rally, who lost his life. He took a bullet in his head, and there were 2 others that were injured. And of course, the shooter was taken out. So the shooter was taken out on the scene. So prayer warriors, we need to be praying, because right now, and this takes me back to an actual statement that current President Jim Crow Joe stated. He said, enough with talking about the debate. It's time to put a bull on Trump. That's what he said. And I tried to find videos of that, but they took those down. But he said that. And now the man took a bullet to the ear. Thank God it was just a graze of his ear, that it didn't hit anything else. But I feel so horribly for people who lost their loved one. There was a man who lost his life. Now the security has to be amplified and bolstered, and Donald Trump has to be protected to the max. Him and his family members, not just Donald Trump. Security needs to be maximized. They need to do a farther out sweep beyond what they normally do. I'm talking about Secret Service. Whatever that range is that they normally do a security sweep, take that out 3 times farther. Have Secret Service people on top, several of them on top of all roofs around, have extra security, because the demon rats are desperate. We don't know. It was a 20-year-old, and by the last name of Crooks, and appropriate last name, I guess you could say, but I feel bad for their family as well. And this person was a young person. And a lot of times young people can easily fall into the belief of believing the wrong things. That's why you have all the chaos on the college campuses and this anti-Israel rhetoric and the bullying of Jewish students, because they're easily manipulated in the mind to believe things that are false and then act on them, not just believe falsehood, but act on it. And this was a 20-year-old, the actual person who tried to get rid of Donald Trump. So we have to really be praying that there's going to be a Secret Service investigation. There is. And you saw that man who spoke about, we're pointing, and the police are looking around like this, like, duh, like they don't know what's going on. These are supposed to be trained people. So was this an inside job? I'm not saying it is. I'm asking a question. Does Secret Service itself need to be investigated? We've got some problems that need to be addressed. And although Donald Trump thanked the Secret Service, there was a leak, there was a hole somewhere, and we need to find out where that hole is. And the Bible says whatever's done in secret comes to the light. So it does come to the light. And I was texting back and forth between a family member of mine who literally said, she brought up I'm not going to say who it is, but she brought up the video of Donald Trump saying something about Nancy Pelosi's husband, saying, how's he doing after that event that happened with him? And my family member said, no, it's hard to feel sorry for a bully. And my statement was that I don't think Donald Trump should have made those statements. But at the same time, I'm going to be praying, and I'm going to pray for Donald Trump. And another relative was like, we need to think about what we say before we say it. And I said, amen to that. So people are up in their feelings. My relative, the one who said it's hard to feel sorry for a bully, was basically saying she doesn't feel sorry for Donald Trump for what he received. To me, that was just a totally evil statement. It was horrible. I'll pray for her. She's got TDS. I would never have said that in my TDS years. Clearly, if you look throughout history, the person who's the target of this kind of attempt to take their life, the person who's the target is generally the good guy. Clearly. So we're going to pretend like, Donald Trump's the bad guy still. And some people are saying on social media that it was really staged. It was staged. It wasn't staged. Are you people insane? not talking about you guys, but I'm just saying it wasn't staged. You guys tell me what you think. If you've got any more updates that I need to revisit and do another video on, but this is what I have right now. And I will do another video actually of another person who saw some unsavory activity. I'll do another video, but don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, as we got to pray for everybody. We got to pray for Donald Trump and his family and the country. And my heart goes out to the family of that man that lost his life. And then also, 2 people were injured, and I'm praying for them as well. You guys be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.